Now at 9, authorities in southeast Kansas arrest a suspect in a homicide investigation. Plus, a Christmas parade in Carl Junction draws big crowds, and how law enforcement officers in Miami are making sure every kid has Christmas gifts this year. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Cale Chapman. Authorities in southeast Kansas have arrested a man as part of a homicide investigation. Authorities say 43-year-old Casey Dye of Petrolia, Kansas, yesterday went to the Allen County Sheriff's Office to give a statement. A short time later, officers found a body in a vehicle inside an automotive glass shop in Chanute. The body was identified as that of 45-year-old Ryan Holcomb of Chanute. Authorities say Dye shot and killed Holcomb in Allen County, then moved the body to Chanute. The KBI has been brought in to investigate. Formal charges against Dye are pending. And Doug Heddy joins us for a look at weather.
Well, we definitely had a lot of clouds outside for us today, but temperature is actually pretty good, pretty close to where we should be for this time of the year. We topped out at 50. We started at 31. You can see very close to our normal numbers where we should be for the beginning of December. And our temperatures are dropping back now. We have upper 30s to low to mid 40s, depending on where you live. And I think most of us will kind of slide back upper 30s for overnight lows tonight. We are going to have a lot of clouds. You can see we have a lot of clouds across the region. We have this weak wave down through southern parts of New Mexico, and that's actually going to head toward us late tomorrow and then into tomorrow night and Tuesday, giving us chances for at least a few showers. Through the overnight, we should stay dry. We drop back to about 38 and then kind of hang into lower 40s, back to 51 by 10. Of course, we're going to look at those rain chances coming up here in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Doug. The community of Carl Junction came out today to enjoy a Christmas parade. The Carl Junction Lions Club hosted the parade down Main Street. It even featured an appearance from Santa Claus himself.
Well, everybody here is just great church-going people. They love God, family, and hometown, and we've got a great school, and I think people just enjoy getting together and celebrating their roots.
Small town Christmas. The city of Pittsburgh is collaborating with Root Coffee House to celebrate the creativity of their employees. City staff submitted images that capture the beauty of spring, summer, fall, and winter. The photos will be displayed in Root Coffee House throughout the month of December. And some Wyandotte kids got to shop with a cop today. About 60 students gathered to shop with the Wyandotte Police Department's Shop with a Cop event earlier today. With generous donations, the children get to purchase gifts for their siblings. Assistant Chief Farron Lee says this is a good time to make positive interactions with the kids.
They get to see police officers in another light compared to seeing somebody beating on their door or taking a parent away or whatever the case may be.
The children and officers also had a gift wrapping party following their shopping session. And Congress voted to stop a potentially catastrophic railroad strike this past week, but the move has political consequences for President Biden. It's the first of a host of major issues facing lawmakers between now and early January. Fox News senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram reports.
President Biden bragged that the labor movement never had a friend in such a high place.
I want to remind everybody, I know I get criticized for being the most pro-labor president in history. There's a simple reason for that.
But Mr. Biden now takes heat for cajoling Congress to intervene in the labor dispute and forcing a settlement. The nation may have sidestepped a holiday rail strike, but at a political cost to the president, especially since the left failed to boost rail workers with 7 days of medical absences.
I know this bill doesn't have paid sick leave that these rail workers and frankly every worker in America deserves. But that fight isn't over.
But Democrats said the controversy shed light on the plight of rail workers, with even some Republicans embracing the sick time cause.
Yeah, so maybe there's a new dawn for these type of support policies to help workers thrive in the workplace, to function well and effectively, to be able to meet the needs of their families, especially when they're sick or when their loved ones are sick.
The railroad row offered a preview of how other issues could run off the rails this month in Congress. The first big hurdle, avoiding a mid-December government shutdown.
At some point, the Senate's going to have to start moving appropriations bills too. It can't just be this game of chicken where the clock's going to strike midnight.
Time is the enemy, forcing Congress to approve a short-term spending bill to avoid a shutdown.
Stopgap funding bills should only be used as a last resort.
There's a push to modernize the archaic Electoral Count Act, streamlining how Congress certifies the Electoral College results. And Congress still needs to approve the annual defense policy bill. It's a congressional Christmas crunch. It may be the most wonderful time of the year, but not on Capitol Hill. At the U.S. Capitol, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
A Navy veteran who survived Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor returns to Hawaii 81 years later. Ira Schaub, known by the nickname Ike, was 21 years old on the day of the attack, December 7, 1941. Ike is now 102. He lives in Oregon and was met with a hero's welcome when he landed in Honolulu on Friday.
No, not worth it. Who's worth all this?
Just, well, it's overwhelming. Just really made me tear up.
81 years.
Ike's son Carl is a Navy veteran and is in Honolulu with his father. Two women from California, one who worked as a pipe welder and the other as part of an engineering team during World War II, are also in Hawaii for the commemoration of the attack, which will happen Wednesday. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Tonight we recognize Nan Board of Carthage, Missouri. She served in Vietnam as part of the Army Nurse Corps from 1970 to 1971. In that time, she was awarded the Bronze Star Medal, the Legion of Merit Medal, and a Meritorious Service Medal. We're proud to salute Nan Board, a four-state hero. Later on in sports, we'll hear from Missouri Southern and Pitt State women's basketball teams as both picked up big wins this weekend. United Airlines and Boeing reportedly are close to a mega deal that would upgrade passenger service in the United States. The Wall Street Journal reports United is close to finalizing an agreement to buy dozens of Boeing 787 Dreamliners. The Journal says the deal could close by the end of December. It would be worth billions of dollars and mark a victory for United over its European rival Airbus, which reportedly had competed for the same deal. Delta pilots reached a tentative 4-year deal Friday that includes at least a 31% in pay hikes. The agreement, reached after more than 3 years of talks, must be approved by union leadership before going to pilots for a vote. It includes nearly $8 billion in total increased value, as well as one-time payments. If approved, terms of the agreement are expected to set minimum standards for contracts being negotiated with pilots across the industry. 5 days and 40 hours a week sounds pretty standard for a full-time job, right? But what if that standard changed? A 6-month experiment that had dozens participating companies just wrapped up. And organizers say it looked like a 4-day work week may actually be better for business. So could this be the future? Mike Valerio walks us through the results.
A shortened work week sounds pretty good, right? But is it good for business? Millions switched to remote or hybrid work during the pandemic. Commuting time was scrapped, meetings got shorter or were done virtually. And the question of whether or not a traditional work schedule was necessary got louder.
We just saw people that were burnt out and tired.
So 33 companies with a total of 903 employees signed up to participate in a 6-month trial with the nonprofit called 4-Day Week Global and researchers at 3 universities.
The requirements are no reduction in pay, so all employees are still getting their 5 days pay. And there must be a meaningful reduction in work time.
Organizers say the trial was an overwhelming success. None of the 27 companies that completed the post-experiment survey said they were planning to go back to the 5-day work week.
The productivity is up, not down, from 4 days versus 5. How can I possibly argue to this building of intelligent human beings that I want to put them back on 5 days?
Workers reported lower levels of stress and fatigue. Company revenue was higher compared to the year prior, and some managers reported that having an extra day off gave their staff more energy to do their jobs.
One of the big benefits we've seen is just the perspective and almost kind of freshness that people bring to work with them.
And one 2021 survey showed that 70% of workers in America would support a shorter work week, while only 9% oppose.
The 5-day, 40-hour work week feels like this immutable law that was handed down by God at some point, but we invented it about 100 years ago. We just haven't updated it.
In Los Angeles, I'm Mike Valerio.
Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a warmer day for us today. It wasn't warm by any means. We had a lot of clouds, but warmer than what we saw on Saturday. As temperatures today hovered right around 50 to about 51, 52 degrees. You can actually see quite a bit warmer than what we did see yesterday when we sat into the upper 30s all day long. Temperatures right now, most of us near 40, the northern half of the viewing area, and then sitting kind of low to mid 40s once you get into our southern counties. But everybody should dip back to about 38-ish or so as we go through the overnight hours tonight. We have this kind of light southerly wind at about 5 to 10, and this will keep our temperatures from dropping off as much as what we had during the morning hours for us today. So we'll slide back through the 40s by midnight, about 40 degrees, overnight low of 38, and then we'll rebound to about 43 by 6 a.m. But look at all the clouds. There's nothing underneath them, so we are staying dry, but a lot of clouds across the region. So cloudy skies, or at least mostly cloudy skies for us tonight. We're watching this little wave down through parts of New Mexico, and this is going to shoot toward us over about the next 24 to 36 hours and give us at least chances to get some showers in here late tomorrow evening, tomorrow night, and then heading into Tuesday. And then here's our next storm system right behind it, which will start to affect us a little bit later on in the work week, mainly Wednesday into Thursday. But you can see the twist in the upper levels across the Pacific Northwest. All right, let's go through time for us tonight. We're going to slide back upper 30s. Look at the clouds. A lot of clouds heading into the morning hours, mostly cloudy skies. Here's the noon hour. We'll be topping out low to mid 50s at this point in time. And then once we get into the afternoon, we should top out into the upper 50s. 55 in Nevada, 57 in Monette, up close to 60, if not a little above, in Miami, about 57 for a high in Parsons. Now, tomorrow evening, we'll start to get some light showers popping up. You can see them kind of popping up southwestern Missouri. Very light, very scattered. Probably most of us will stay dry, but we are going to have some hit and miss light showers. Here's Tuesday morning, so lasting into Tuesday morning, and then these will exit out of here once we go through the daytime hours on Tuesday. So a very weak system, but we will get a few random little showers trying to pop up. All right, 43 in the morning, 56 by noon, high temp 58, then we'll back down to about 56 late in the day. And you can see our rain chances. They are low, but they kind of sneak up 5, 6, 7, 8 p.m. and then kind of a little bit again once we get toward Tuesday morning. Too bad it's not a widespread heavier rain because that's what we need. But we can jump into our next system. Here's late Wednesday, a little bit more widespread. Wednesday night into Thursday with chances for rain. And we even have another storm system right behind it, which will affect us over the weekend. So it stays decently active. 58 for us tomorrow, 52 on Tuesday, 59 on Wednesday. Those showers, especially Wednesday into Thursday. Thursday, a high temp, 63. Friday looks mainly dry at this point in time, then showers right back in as we head into the weekend. Kale?
Thank you, Doug. Well, rivers of lava are creeping toward a major highway in Hawaii. Fox News correspondent Max Gordon has more from Mauna Loa, where a volcano has been erupting for about a week now.
The lava flowing from Mauna Loa in Hawaii is crawling 40 feet per hour and is now about 2.3 miles away from the island's main highway. It's been a week since Mauna Loa first began erupting. Officials say the lava will move sporadically from here on out, and it's unclear when or if the lava will cross the highway. So far, no evacuation orders have been issued, and there's been no threat to homes or communities.
Seeing where it's at now, I just feel relieved that we're not going to be jeopardizing anybody's homes.
Volcanic gases continue to blow out into the air, generating VOG, or volcanic smog. According to the USGS, Mauna Loa is currently emitting around 180,000 tons of sulfur dioxide per day. Despite the potentially dangerous gases, the eruption is drawing in tourists and locals alike, with many flocking to see the glow of the lava. People on the island say getting a first-hand look has been nothing short of remarkable.
It's tremendous. We went and watched the eruption last night, and just seeing that the red glow and that it's such a unique experience.
2 volcanoes are currently erupting on the island of Hawaii. This is the first time since 1984 that both Kilauea and Mauna Loa have erupted at the same time.
Mother Nature is in control, and that is part of life on this island is to live with these lava landscapes, and that's why Hawaiian culture is so very important to understanding. It's really the lens with which to view these places.
Park rangers at Hawaii Volcanoes National Park say the volcanoes here are interconnected, and eruptions at one volcano can have impacts on another. In Hawaii, Max Gordon, Fox News.
Coming up, we'll learn about a case in New Jersey of a former police officer accused of hacking college students' accounts. A police officer in southern New Jersey is accused of cyber crime. The alleged victims, 18 female college students. Fox's Ellen Kaloje has the story.
The investigation started back in September when a young woman here at Rowan College, Burlington County, called police about her social media accounts being hacked. Now, the same former police officer charged in that case is facing a long list of new charges.
But just the thought of that, it makes me sick. It really makes me sick because I feel like you can't trust anybody anymore.
22-year-old Aaron Taylor is now facing 87 new charges after 18 more women say he hacked into their social media and email accounts at Rowan College, Burlington County. Investigators say the former Mount Laurel police officer even distributed some nude pictures of the women, some of whom were under 18 at the time.
I think it's awful that someone would do that, and I think, when you think back that these kids they're innocent, and I have a child, and you never know what's going to happen, and the fact that it's somebody that you look up to.
The investigation later revealed that Taylor allegedly hacked into more than 2,800 accounts at the college, and that some of the cyber crimes took place while he was in his patrol car. The president of Rowan College, Burlington County, said in part in a statement, "This is a repugnant cyber intrusion of privacy. We immediately strengthened network security, and although there was no systemic failure of the college's technology infrastructure, there is always opportunity for stronger security measures." Taylor is facing 28 charges of second-degree crimes that include computer criminal activity and distribution of child pornography. Now, the college is also offering support and counseling to any victims of this cybercrime, and police believe there could be more victims out there. So if you believe you may have been a victim of this cybercrime, please give them a call immediately. In Mount Laurel, New Jersey, Ellen Kaloje, Fox 29 News.
Up next, we'll take a look at the early estimates for the top movies in theaters this weekend. A very dark Christmas movie made a run at ending the box office reign of the Black Panther sequel. Did it succeed? David Daniel has early estimates for the top 5 films in theaters this weekend.
Devotion, about the friendship between 2 Navy pilots, fell to 5th place with $2.8 million. The Menu held its spot in 4th place, earning $3.6 million. Strange World made $4.9 million in its sophomore weekend, falling from 2nd to 3rd place.
A bunch of new bad guys showed up. They're on the naughty list.
David Harbour is a different kind of Santa Claus in the twisted Christmas flick Violent Night, which filled its stocking with $13.3 million, good enough for 2nd place. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever held off Violent Night for a 4th straight weekend title, grossing $17.6 million for a domestic total of $393.7 million, the 3rd highest total of any film this year. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
We've got 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Some Wyandotte kids got to shop with a cop today. KOAM's Yana Hatala had a talk with them in the Miami Walmart and has more.
Shop with a Cop, a day when police officers make some children's Christmas better.
I got this, my cousin.
This event is important for both police and children as they can have positive interaction.
They get to see police officers in another light compared to seeing somebody beating on their door or taking a parent away or whatever the case may be.
Farron Lee, Assistant Chief of Wyandotte Nation Police Department, has been participating in Shop with a Cop for over 10 years. This year, officers asked 50 to 60 students from schools to come and shop for their siblings.
It's the second best day of my life because I get to buy whatever I want for my sister.
Emily's Crux thinks her big sister will like the gifts that she picks.
I'm going to get her one more toy, and then I'm going to get her some clothes and some shoes, some socks, and other stuff that she really needs, and some books.
This is a great way for children to learn how to think about others as they don't only shop for themselves.
It's humbling to watch them think, because they brainstorm and they get an idea of what their siblings want.
The police officers are also assisted by volunteers who pair up with kids.
Her name's Christy, and she is really fun, and she is really nice.
This event would not happen if there were not generous people. A great amount of money for this day comes from donations.
The employees, strangers, people which we've never met before, they come in and they donate money and or gifts.
In Miami, Janna Hautala, KOAM News.
The children and officers had a gift wrapping party following their shopping session. With respiratory illness on the rise across the country, painkillers for children are getting harder to find. Walgreens says it is still able to meet the demands of customers and patients. But earlier this week, Seattle Children's Hospital said it was experiencing a shortage of liquid acetaminophen and ibuprofen, which are commonly given to children. Meanwhile, Johnson & Johnson, which makes children's Tylenol and children's Motrin, is increasing its production. The company says there isn't a shortage of these medications, but some products may be less available in certain areas. The Biden administration plans to end its public health emergency declaration for Mpox. That's what the World Health Organization is now calling monkeypox. The Department of Health and Human Services confirms it will not renew the declaration, and it will come to an end on January 31st of next year. The country saw an outbreak of the disease over the summer, and the government issued its declaration in August. Nearly 30,000 people have contracted Mpox, and 17 people have died. The government says currently there are fewer than 10 cases of the virus reported each day. Twitter CEO Elon Musk pulling back the curtain on how the social media giant went out of its way to block the New York Post's story on Hunter Biden's laptop, just weeks before the 2020 election. Musk says he will reveal even more what he calls round two sometime today. Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff has more from Washington.
Twitter's new CEO is expected to do a Q&A session today, as well as releasing part 2 of these Twitter files. He believes that the internal documents shared show that Twitter took censorship direction mostly from Democrats, including then-candidate Biden's team. To reveal this, Musk provided the company's communications to Substack writer Matt Taibbi, who refers to himself as an old-school liberal and critic of online censorship. Taibbi then compiled that information into a lengthy tweet thread, beginning with how political influence took hold at the company. Taibbi wrote that by October of 2020, quote, requests from connected actors to delete tweets were routine. One executive would write to another, more to review from the Biden team. The reply would come back, handled. Taibbi said that users could be removed or reviewed at the behest of a political party, with Democrats proving more powerful due to the political makeup of Twitter's staff. The thread also notes the extraordinary steps taken to remove the New York Post reporting on Hunter Biden's laptop by marking the story as unsafe and utilizing a tool reserved for extreme cases like child pornography. The screenshots show that when questioned by colleagues for disabling accounts that shared the story, a Twitter executive justified the action, saying it violated the company's hacked materials policy. Democrat Congressman Ro Khanna took issue with that and reached out to Twitter at the time. He tells Fox News, quote, "I believe our Constitution and First Amendment are sacred. As the congressman who represents Silicon Valley, I felt Twitter's actions were a violation of First Amendment principles, so I raised those concerns." Taibbi also suggested in the thread that Twitter's then CEO Jack Dorsey likely knew very little about the censorship taking place. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
Still ahead, what a new report found out about fraud surrounding the federal Paycheck Protection Program.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a warmer day for us today. It wasn't warm by any means. We had a lot of clouds, but warmer than what we saw on Saturday as temperatures today hovered right around 50 to about 51, 52 degrees. You can actually see quite a bit warmer than what we did see yesterday when we sat into the upper 30s all day long. Temperatures right now, most of us near 40, the northern half of the viewing area, and then sitting kind of low to mid 40s once you get into our southern counties. But everybody should dip back to about 38-ish or so as we go through the overnight hours tonight. We have this kind of light southerly wind at about 5 to 10, and this will keep our temperatures from dropping off as much as what we had during the morning hours for us today. So we'll slide back through the 40s by midnight, about 40 degrees, overnight low of 38, and then we'll rebound to about 43 by 6 a.m. But look at all the clouds. There's nothing underneath them, so we are staying dry, but a lot of clouds across the region. So cloudy skies, or at least mostly cloudy skies for us tonight. We're watching this little wave down through parts of New Mexico, and this is going to shoot toward us over about the next 24 to 36 hours and give us at least chances to get some showers in here late tomorrow evening, tomorrow night, and then heading into Tuesday. And then here's our next storm system right behind it, which will start to affect us a little bit later on in the work week, mainly Wednesday into Thursday, but you can see the twist in the upper levels across the Pacific Northwest. All right, let's go through time for us tonight. We're going to slide back upper 30s. Look at the clouds. A lot of clouds heading into the morning hours, mostly cloudy skies. Here's the noon hour. We'll be topping out low to mid 50s at this point in time. And then once we get into the afternoon, we should top out into the upper 50s. 55 in Nevada, 57 in Monette, up close to 60, if not a little above, in Miami, about 57 for a high in Parsons. Now, tomorrow evening, we'll start to get some light showers popping up. You can see them kind of popping up southwestern Missouri. Very light, very scattered. Probably most of us will stay dry, but we are going to have some hit and miss light showers. Here's Tuesday morning, so lasting into Tuesday morning, and then these will exit out of here once we go through the daytime hours on Tuesday. So a very weak system, but we will get a few random little showers trying to pop up. All right, 43 in the morning, 56 by noon, high temp 58, then we'll back down to about 56 late in the day. And you can see our rain chances, they are low, but they kind of sneak up 5, 6, 7, 8 p.m. and then kind of a little bit again once we get toward Tuesday morning. Too bad it's not a widespread heavier rain because that's what we need. But we can jump into our next system. Here's late Wednesday, a little bit more widespread. Wednesday night into Thursday with chances for rain, and we even have another storm system right behind it, which will affect us over the weekend. So it stays decently active. 58 for us tomorrow, 52 on Tuesday, 59 on Wednesday. Those showers, especially Wednesday into Thursday. Thursday, a high temp, 63. Friday looks mainly dry at this point in time, then showers right back in as we head into the weekend. Kale?
All right, coming up in sports, the Missouri Southern women get off to a 2-0 start in conference play. Plus, the Chiefs face the Bengals. Highlights and post-game reaction coming up.
The Kansas City Chiefs have won 5 straight games, heading into a huge matchup this afternoon. The Chiefs are in Cincinnati taking on the Bengals. Bengals with the lead here in the second. Joe Burrow connects with T. Higgins. He reaches into the end zone for the touchdown. 14-3 Cincinnati. Later, Patrick Mahomes finds Jerick McKinnon for 6. Chiefs trail 14-10 at half. They're better in the third. Isaiah Pacheco runs it down the middle, battles his way in, and then Mahomes decides to go himself, leaps into the end zone. He takes a big hit, but he's got the touchdown. Chiefs on top, it's 24-17. But in the fourth quarter, after a Kansas City fumble, Burrow hits a wide open Chris Evans for the go-ahead touchdown, and Cincinnati takes down Kansas City 27-24.
Look, a hard-fought game. The Bengals did a nice job, and coming down the stretch, you can't turn the ball over against a good team, and you surely can't miss a field goal. But there was a lot of things in between that we could have done better, and so we'll go back and we'll work on it and make sure that we learn from it and try to become a better team.
The Missouri Southern women are a perfect 9-0 this season, and they're off to a 2-0 start in conference play. The Lions picked up a huge win at home on Saturday. Southern hung on to beat Missouri Western, an Elite 8 team from last season, 75-69. The Lions dropped 30 points in the fourth quarter to seal the win. Lacey Stokes led the team with 18 points, and Chrislyn Jones added 15. Haley Grant was really good off the bench too, tying a season high with 13 points.
Haley was huge today. That's the Haley that I know that she's capable of playing every night. It's just a matter of her getting in there and confidence in herself and completing those plays. And she can do things that we don't have anybody else do with her length, getting around the basket, scoring against guards. And she did a great job today. And then defensively, I thought she was really strong many times. And she had a couple big-time blocks, just showing her athleticism, her effort. The one in transition that she come from behind and blocked, it was huge, I thought, just the effort plays that she gave us today.
They played 3 conference games this past week. They're 2-1. They went 2-1, picking up wins over Lincoln and Northwest, and now they're 6-2 overall. Karenna Gerber was huge for the Gorillas this week, averaging 20 points per game. That's a look at sports. We'll be right back.
You've probably noticed the cost of living is going up. And according to the Economist Intelligence Unit, the most expensive places in the world to live are New York City and Singapore. They topped this year's list of worldwide cost of living index. Next was Tel Aviv. That was followed by Hong Kong and Los Angeles. The index reports that the average cost of living is up 8.1% in 2022. Researchers say the increase is due to the Russian war in Ukraine and the lingering effects of the pandemic. If you've ever wondered what happened to all the money the government spent to help businesses during the worst of the COVID-19 pandemic, you have plenty of company. A new report is painting a depressing picture of just how much your cash was the subject of fraud. Fox News correspondent Mark Meredith has the details.
We're going to get money in people's pockets quickly.
2.5 years after the Trump administration rolled out the Paycheck Protection Program, lawmakers are learning how easy it was for scammers to target lenders who were also eager to get money from the government.
You read through the report and sometimes you don't know whether to laugh or cry.
Sam Kruger studies pandemic assistance fraud at the University of Texas. He says a new congressional report shows how financial tech firms, or fintechs, failed to do basic due diligence when examining millions of loan applications.
You see multiple loans going to the same residential address. You see compensation that's out of line. You see loans to businesses that when you look at state business registries just don't seem to exist at all.
Investigators say some fintech companies like Blue Acorn, which processed millions of PPP loans and made a lot of money doing it, instructed employees not to be concerned with fraud. The report claims the company told workers, quote, "If you are doubtful of a document's authenticity but are not certain, the rule of thumb is to accept it." Blue Acorn did not respond to requests for comment, but told Congress it blames one executive for the protocols. This year, the Justice Department's Inspector General told Fox he believes the government failed to impose safeguards to protect taxpayer money.
The key is putting in controls that prevent and detect the fraud from happening. And that, unfortunately, didn't happen in the earliest days of the pandemic.
Some in Congress are urging the Justice Department to review the report's findings and to hold both people and companies accountable for fraud. But experts also tell Fox once the money went out the door, it's extremely hard for the government to recoup what was stolen from taxpayers. In Washington, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
Up next, how researchers are using worms to detect cancer early on in some patients. The early detection of cancer can help save lives, and now researchers in Japan say they've created the first ever early detection kit for pancreatic cancer, a unique process using tiny worms to try and identify the hard to diagnose disease. Fox News correspondent Anita Vogel takes a special look.
Tiny worms could help detect initial signs of pancreatic cancer. That's according to Japanese researchers who say they've developed the world's first early screening test for the disease.
What's very important with early detection of cancer and these kinds of diseases is being able to sense very trace amounts.
And that's exactly what these worms do. Measuring in at 1 millimeter in length, about the thickness of a credit card, the worms are a species of nematodes, round worms with exceptional smelling capabilities, better than humans and dogs. Users send urine samples to a lab where scientists genetically modified the worms to swim away from cancer samples.
There are various types of cancer tests using different methods around the world, but none have a method using capabilities of living organisms. So I want to raise the understanding of that around the world.
If the results show a high risk for cancer, patients can undergo additional testing to avoid false positives. In the U.S., pancreatic cancer is the 4th leading cause of cancer death in men and women. The worm test costs a little more than $500. Researchers are hoping to have it available in the U.S. sometime next year. They're also aiming to develop tests for liver, cervical, and breast cancers in the future. Anita Vogel, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with a video of a polar bear at a German zoo celebrating its birthday. We'll see you back here next time, and thank you for making us part of your night.